Not even 3 years ago, the first guard to win Defensive Player of the Year since Gary Payton found himself in the bottom shelf of the NBA. The player Boston grabbed from the Wizards in a 3-team deal, resulting in Marcus Smart going to the Grizzlies, only to find a way ending up in Washington, D.C. Many haven't even thought of him in years, especially after leaving Boston. From heart and soul of the franchise, one of the most beloved role players for one team, to the brink of irrelevancy. A rapid decline, similar to the likes of Avery Bradley after he left the Celtics, never gave the same production again. The former 6th overall pick in the 2014 draft out of Oklahoma State even drew comparisons to Dwayne Wade, strong stocky point guard with bruising strength, aggressor and defensive instincts, had some temper concerns, most notable for shoving a fan in college, considered an out-of-control madman, gave him a bad reputation. As Boston in the mix of rebuilding after the Rondo, Garnett, Pierce era, team already looked promising with the rookie playing alongside Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, and Evan Turner. Smart's tough attitude made him one of the best enforcers in the league, always in the middle of a skyfall. From being super hyped in college for the loaded 2014 class, struggled with his shot, but great at all the little things, a do-it-all Swiss Army knife, mixed winning plays, and ferocious hustler, easily became a fan favorite. Many then realized his ceiling not super high, but a certain championship caliber role player as a 4th or 5th option. If his 3-point shooting ever reached 39% in his prime, Smart would have been an all-star. The endless motor, surrounded by a good front office in Danny Ainge, head coach Brad Stevens, Smart in many ways, the vocal leader in the locker room, willing to do whatever to help his team win, gladly took a back seat with the offensive explosion of Isaiah Thomas, team landing multiple-time All-Star Al Horford, always willing to guard anyone from Steph Curry to Giannis, averaged around 9 to 11 points a game, 4 assist type guy. His role style of play, the strongest link to team success. When trying to take the offense by himself, jacking up too many inefficient shots, that's when he becomes a problem. Struggled badly, Game 7 2018, went 1 of 10 from the field, 4 points, got several friendly contract extensions after going through the whole Kyrie saga. It was clear Tatum and Brown were the 2 main stars. Smart, being one of the key role players, didn't have the ceiling of a star player, but had motor, never afraid to shoot. It was the Jays who were nonchalant at times. Marcus earned 3 defensive first teams, 3-time Hustle Award winner, took on more of an offensive burden 2020 season, from taking 7 shots a game during the Kyrie Gordon Hayward year to 11.4 attempts, still a poor shooter, whether it was IT, Scary Terry, Kyrie, or Kemba. Marcus not trusted upon being the starting point guard. Many times his name even on the trade block. A much better playoff performer, averaged almost 15, 5, and 5 in the 2020 bubble. Every time a starter wasn't performing up to task, it was Smart to cover their flaws, being a pest at all times, the type of player everybody on the opposing team hates to play against, more than capable, guarding bigger guys down low, even waving off Daniel Tice at times. The big man once upon a time, the starting center Boston had. Smart had one of the most underratedly clutch blocks, Game 7 2020 semis, arguably his greatest play as a Celtic, but couldn't cover for Tice's liability conference finals, getting destroyed by Bam Adebayo. Smart couldn't shoot a late Game 4, 3 late turnovers in a row, became one of the most dangerously poor 4th quarter players. Kemba's knees were cooked. Marcus didn't have super high level playmaking. Miami simply left him open, baiting him to shoot. Put up 13 and 6 assists 2021 season. A lost year with Brown. Marcus always being a willing shooter that can't always shoot. 2022 changed everything for the best when Boston decided to go Marcus, the full-time starting point guard, a risky yet bold move with the trust of having Tatum and Brown progress as better passers, getting back Al Horford. Whole team no longer had any defensive liabilities with the genius coaching of Ime Udoka, chemistry all-time high. The additions of Derek White and a healthy Robert Williams helped reach Boston to new heights, being the best defensive team second half turnaround season, went 33-10 after an ugly 18-21 start. Smart's ability to read the whole floor, calling out switches, and the hype of Boston Boston shifted the Defensive Player of the Year narrative to the 6'3" point guard. Everybody got tired of Rudy Gobert, didn't trust Mikal Bridges in Phoenix, Draymond missed too many games. While many can agree, Jrue Holiday, the more superior player and even better defender than Marcus. Jrue didn't take part of any deep like 2022 Boston. At the peak of his basketball powers, the outspoken leader feared no team, quoted, "We don't duck or dodge nobody." The Celtics could have chose to play another team and purposely drop in the standings, but fully prepared to not avoid Brooklyn's KD and Kyrie. The Defensive Player of the Year balled out, dropped 20 points 2 of the 4 games, came up huge with his backs against the ropes. Game 6 Milwaukee, a 21 point, 7 assists, 5 3-pointer masterclass, delivered the most important game of his life, a 24 point, 9 rebound, 5 assists classic Game 7 win in Miami, battled through an ankle injury, even listed questionable before the game, had to miss 3 playoff games, helped set the tone for his C's, drained the timely threes, but nearly cost his team the game, taking some awful shots, resulting in Miami almost taking the lead, but drained the clutch free throws, redeeming himself, clinching his first finals appearance. Up 2 games to 1, despite an 18-point Game 4, shot 7 of 18, Boston had to rely on him for playmaking, leading to dumb offensive decisions. His flop antics, not getting the calls, also a disaster, allowing Steph having more room to score. Boston clearly the more immature team with bad shot selection, giving Golden State the more experienced squad was what gave Steph the title. Smart's Defensive Player of the Year award overshadowed not aging well. Curry proven to be too skilled, too quick. After Golden State won in 6, Smart's Defensive Player of the Year legitimacy, mostly due to hype and narrative driven, had his moments 2023 playoffs, elimination Game 6, dropped 22, 7-7 in Philly, but struggled badly the first 3 games of the Miami series, being down 0-3 after a dominant regular season and an injury Game 7 Tatum. Boston finally needed a few roster changes, not knowing whether they were ever going to win the title. Brad Stevens did his best work, with Washington having no leverage, desperately gave away star caliber Kristaps Porzingis. Grizzlies gave up 2 firsts and Tyus Jones for Smart after losing out Dillon Brooks, an absolute downgrade. All of a sudden, Marcus becomes super injury prone, playing less than 1/4 of last season with hand and ankle injuries. His former team got an upgrade, getting rid of injury prone Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams for the superior Jrue Holiday. Smart, 39 total games played over 2 seasons, had a partial tear in his right index finger, looks absolutely washed, still can't shoot a lick. Grizzlies GM Zach Kleiman made up for his mistakes by hitting on consecutive second-round picks Vince Williams Jr., Gigi Jackson, and Jalen Wells, giving Marcus relentless play style. All that wear and tear on a 6'3" player who can't shoot. The flopping eventually caught on. Being in a historic franchise, his hustle plays made him more well-known. Nobody remembers a Marcus Smart single highlight in the Grizzlies uniform. His former squad way smoother offense, having an all-time defensive guard lineup in White and Holiday. Boston's super unselfish style of play easily won the title right after he was gone. Now considered overrated, overhyped, playing in Boston, got too much credit for his leadership qualities, but given his quickness and defense slowing down, the intangibles not good enough to become a 30-minute type guy when he's shooting just 32% from deep, making $20 million this season and over 21 in 2026. He's not going to get a buyout. His style of play already considered an afterthought, being way too streaky in his prime. The better Jrue Holiday, just more well-rounded and consistent, proved to perform in the best of stages. Being a role player, streakiness way too dangerous to take a chance on, especially if you're getting paid the big bucks. Smart simply the type of player that can win you games you're not supposed to win, but lose you those games you're not supposed to lose. Memphis having no use for him when the bench guys in Pippen Jr., Vince and Gigi all producing at a high level, no need for a player in Smart to take over the second unit, forcing the offense to be stagnant with his poor shot selection. Remember for being the heart and soul of the Celtics, helped carry through the transition years. One of the guys needed to be the sacrificial lamb for the Jays to capture the final mission. Marcus's work ethic and heart always in the right place, but his execution offensively at times a huge detriment that held his team back. Perhaps Brad Stevens did Marcus a favor by trading him as he was declining with the injuries piling up. You couldn't ask for more perfect timing. Had he still been a Celtic in 2024 and forward, there's no guarantee Boston wins the title. Instead, Marcus becomes a martyr with nothing but positive feelings by Celtics fans given his unavailability for the last year and a half. Many Celtics fans would have turned on him if he was out that long and demanded trade. No matter how much a role player contributes for one team, he can be in one franchise for over a decade. But when you're championship caliber, having 3 extremely injury-prone role players in Smart, Robert Williams, who's constantly banged up in Portland, played just 24 games since getting traded, 50 games played total post-Boston for Mr. Malcolm Brogdon. Brad Stevens pulled the plug at the right time. Could it ultimately come down to Boston's system enhancing certain player skill sets when they struggle badly, for all the other different teams being mentally drained after committing all his energy to one franchise with great coaching, got the most out of him, going all out, having nagging injuries can only last so long. Now he's at an age where you torch something just takes forever to heal unless he becomes a lethal catch and shoot guy, being an offensive liability, the worst nightmare for any aging guard. Now stuck in bottom shelf Washington, a team going absolutely nowhere but high in the lottery, a helpless franchise. He'll be 32 when his contract's up, now just fighting to stay relevant in the league. Guards are only getting younger, Smart getting slower, from Defensive Player of the Year to quickly forgotten. His legacy will always remain one of the most polarizing role players of this generation. Will he even be in the NBA after his contract's up? Or does he have a second win or settle for a vet minimum after next season? Will Smart wind up back with the Celtics later on just for the vibes? Marcus Smart, just one of the many examples from being at your apex, winning an illustrious award, joining all-time greats, taking part of unique company, to just a few years later, the game completely moves on without you while you're hurt on the sidelines. The physical toll and fast pace of NBA basketball, and a second chance at a title redemption, never ever guaranteed.